Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts broadcasting radio. The Frankenstein earphone radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
Today's episode of Frankenstein Control is brought to you by Marlboro Cigarettes, Bon. Smoke it up and get a Bronto Big Tumor. Yabba dabba doo.
That was our vintage commercial set. I hope everyone enjoyed. Just thought I'd bring that up. It's quite charming to see the times have changed. So, Don't you agree? Watching Frederick Flintstone die on live television.
Baby boomers. Next time you want to you're feeling a little bit angsty at the zeitgeist of the times, and then you don't like how millennials are changing things. Before you post share a misinformed article, why don't you just take a break? Just take a deep breath. Remember when you used to take a big old breath of them menthol cigarettes, and go on to YouTube, and because we have YouTube now, it's a resource, and you can watch some things like Flintstones cigarette commercials in black and white that remind you of simpler times, and you'll feel better.
Hey Fred, it's a flavor that really satisfies. Smooth. Hey Fred, we can do this at work and also hit on women because that wasn't a crime back then. Hey there, Toots. You got a couple of dinosaur eggs in that bra. Yabba dabba harassment.
Whatever happened to dressing up on the airplane?
Shut the fuck up, Barn. I'm smoking around children in an airplane.
Hey, Fred, you know what would be really funny? If later on... I'm turning into you fucking Yogi. I can't... What the hell did Fred sound like?
The Fred? You mean Barney?
Barney. Fucking...
He's just, hey, Fred, that's
Hey, Fred, you know what would be really funny is if B-Right didn't fuck up the joke so bad. And also, if we kicked down all the ladders for social mobility for younger generations and then blamed them for it.
Barney,
What,
my
man buns?
pebbles.
Bonnie, my Applebee's.
I just like looking at man buns, and I'm gonna make sure everyone knows that fact. Even though, not that many people have them.
Man buns? Oh! I thought you meant, the glutes of a gent.
No.
The gent glutes.
Say, Barn, did I ever tell you that Wilma's a beard? What? That's right, Barn. She's got a really hot brother. We fuck on the side, Barn. Wow!
I can
Fred, will you tell me this? Fred, I'm scared because now you're an accessory to it, Barn. I see how you make eyes at Broderick.
Broderick?
Wilma's brother, I guess.
Why not Vilma?
We're after the same man, Barn, you and I.
It's Flintstones. His name would be Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky. All right, he helps me get my rocks off, Barn.
From the town of Bread Rock, Flintstones Vitamins, the movie 2.
Speaking of vintage cartoons, what was up with all those fucking Shaggy memes?
I don't know what started it.
How did that... was that a thing that you guys saw from a source other than me?
No, yeah. People just make them.
Because...
I don't know where all the interview stuff is coming from. I've seen them a lot on trans as well.
I had a little bit of a
Shagpiphany?
Yeah, well, not really. I don't know what the word is for it. I lost my train of thought there. But, only one dude that I know on Facebook, was posting those.
Uh-huh.
So, for the first part of it, I kind of thought he was making them.
Yeah.
Or, that he had some weird inside source for them. I didn't see anyone else sharing them. It was just this one guy.
Yeah.
And they were all fucking gold. And they were killing me. And I was like, this is the funniest shit I've seen in a really long time. And, so I started, sending them to you guys and laughing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, is this a thing other people are aware of? Who's doing these? Why did this happen?
When do
now-
any memes happen?
And
None
now
of this
people
stuff
are
makes any
petitioning for
sense.
Shaggy to be in the next Mortal Kombat.
Which is
That would
totally
be fucking amazing.
It would be.
it's totally within license because I think that they're owned by the same.
Really?
Like I think it wouldn't be a
Oh
problem.
yeah, Warner Brothers. Well, Warner Brothers makes inconsequential shit.
the
What's
DC
that?
thing?
That's the game called. Help me out here. Immortal, insoluble, infallible, innocuous,
I don't know what
Innocuous
the fuck
Rift?
you're talking about.
injustice. Injustice.
Those games that nobody played.
Yeah, a lot of people play them. They like playing as the Green Goblin. Wait, no, he's not in that game. They like playing as the Green Lantern, and he flies around and makes a green jet at you.
I'm thinking of a different game.
It's the game where we're all supposed to realistically expect everyone to just not immediately lose to fucking Superman.
Yep.
Oh, I know what game. Okay, no. I was
Yeah.
thinking of a completely different game.
Look at me. Oh, were you thinking of Infamous?
Um,
The game where you play as a diseased boy who has a good disease instead of a bad disease, and he like goes around town killing people with weird, fucking crazy black shit that comes out of his body, and also.
I thought that was Prototype.
Oh, that was Prototype. What am I thinking of? Oh! It's a game where you're a bald man in a yellow jacket, and you go around and you can either get red lightning powers or blue lightning powers.
That's the sequel to Caillou.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is the sequel to Caillou. No, the sequel to Caillou is One Punch Man.
Ah.
That's what he grows up into. That's
Which
why.
is coming next month, and so will I. Oh! One Punchels. I'm actually kind of nervous
Uh-huh.
about it because it's a different studio
Yeah.
doing it this time, so I'm nervous.
That's what I've heard is a lot of people are like, I'm not interested because it's a different
Well, I'm not. I
studio.
won't go that far, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm uneasy. Just
You'll be
because
initially skeptical.
It's such a strong hurdle to overcome. It's like you're in a talent show with your fucking, I'm gonna pull a bunny out of a hat, and then the kid before you just jumps 17 buses on a motorcycle. You're just like, oh fuck. Like, how do you get out of that one?
Yeah.
That's gonna have to be a big bunny.
Their Toonami is like, hey guys, I know we're running out of some of our series because they're ending soon. Well, don't worry, we have exactly what you guys want: an entire new season of Sword Art Online. And also, we cut 2 hours of action and now have like Family Guy episodes on when there was good shit. But
On Toonami,
yeah,
I like to think they just played the episodes that air in Japan.
Japanese dubbed Family Guy.
Watashi, wow, holy crap, Lois.
Just comes in. Tadaima!
I wonder if they've actually dubbed or bothered to dub it in Japanese because it's not a bit. I don't.
Like,
It's kind of a very American kind of show.
yeah.
That I don't think would
It's-
do very well over there.
It's like they regard it the same way we regard like Crayon Shin-Chan. Like they have to do major retcons to the plot lines to make them comprehensible to the audience.
That show's I
Family
love that
Guy
show.
is a show made for very young children in,
Yeah.
in Japan. It's made for like 3-year-olds to watch.
Yeah,
Oh god.
Shin-Chan was hysterical
Yeah.
for when it was on.
The American
Yeah.
the American dub
Yeah.
of Shin-Chan, which, as Bira was saying, Shin-Chan is a children's show in Japan, but when they brought it over here, a lot of the jokes just don't glide. They don't gel with there's something lost translation with the humor in that
Lots
show.
of wordplay.
Yeah. So they just said fuck it, and they made all the scripts raunchy and really fucking hilarious.
Basically made like Japanese Simpsons.
Yeah. And like it's great. It's super funny. Like they just completely they'll stick to what's going on screen. Like they won't break what's going on necessarily, but they will just say the funniest shit. It's great.
It's really good that you.
Look at the kids playing the ball to fight the obesity.
It's really good that you told me that it was that much of a show for children and that it was changed that much, because if I ever went to Japan and saw like somebody dressing up for the kids, I'd be like, "It's Action Bastard!" Hi, Action Bastard. That's so fun. Listen, look, it's Action Bastard.
Kid just turns to you and goes, "Nani?" You're like, "Child, why is your voice so deep?" And he's like, "I don't know." You're like, "Oh, you speak English?" And he's like, "Nani?"
Do you speak English? No, I don't speak English.
That was a throwback to that very, very early series Family Guy joke with the where Brian speaks Spanish and the guy like corrects his Spanish and he goes, "Oh, thank you. You speak English?" And the guy's like, "No, only that first sentence and then this one explaining it." And Brian's like, "You're kidding, right?" And he goes, "Okay."
Speaking of Family Guy jokes, I have been the bane of Ada's existence for the last couple of weeks.
Thankfully, you've stopped tormenting me.
But it is funny.
There's a bit where like it starts off the episode and it's like it's the blue collar comedy tour. It's like that kind of parody thing, and it's like here's this comedian, here's this guy, and
here's Bill Engvall. Here's
except no, they're like they aren't the actual celebrities. They like parodied them, or something.
Yeah.
So
like, it's one of them is something like drunk beat wife, and the guy just goes, "Oh, that dog of mine," and in the context of the show, it is not funny. But Taylor has decided to say, "Oh, that dog of mine," at least twice a day. It has driven me insane.
If you're gonna seize upon an inconsequential quote from a show that, like, we all remember lots and lots of quotes from, despite not watching it anymore and disliking what it has become and represents to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like, pick one that's actually funny.
Yeah.
Look.
Not just like, why did your brain seize on, "Oh, that dog of mine"?
It was stuck in my head where this one time I was trying to uncoil a wire from a device. I dropped the whole device in the attempt to do it, and to like sort of air off steam instead of getting frustrated, I decided to like, say something out loud to the line of like, "Oh, you funny guy," or whatever. But the first thing that popped in my head was that stupid Family Guy quote, and I went, "Oh, that dog of mine." And I thought it was funny that my mind went to such a stupid place so quickly.
See, that is funny.
And so now every time something frustrating was happening to me, I would go, "Oh, that dog of mine." But see, Ada would only hear it from a distance, so it just sounded like I was fucking insane in the living room, sitting to myself alone, going, "Oh, that dog of mine." See, I'm not crazy.
But for the longest time, I just kind of tolerated it because I thought it was from it sounds like something that would be from an old sitcom. That was the line that like the grandma said whenever the dog did a funny thing. And they would say that like once every episode, followed immediately by a laugh track. So enough times I asked you, "What is it from?" He's like, "It's from Family Guy." So I'm like, "Okay, what's the context?" And I looked at the bit and I'm like, "You were quoting that?" Of all the things you could have been quoting.
So furious.
You quoted that.
So upset.
I had to get the rolled up newspaper and hit him.
It's
He
true.
would stop.
"Oh, that Taylor of mine."
We now return to That Lummox of Mine, already in progress.
Compliance wand. Ran out of charge.
That Lummox of Mine is filmed in front of a live studio audience. A dead studio audience.
They shot themselves.
All two of them.
What'd they use? "Oh, that gun of mine!"
I'm filled with rage.
Oh, God, you're bright red.
I am.
Just like Alex Jones.
Destroy the Taylor.
Destroy the Taylor.
I love that bit. That's my favorite Alex Jones moment ever. Is I don't want to know the context. All I need is him with that weird voice going, "Destroy the child," because it's the funniest shit in the world to me.
Imagine like the end scene of like friggin' Fantasia when Chernobog rises up and turns around and it's just Alex Jones's face on the fucking giant ass demon. But like in the art style and like colored the same way.
Yeah.
Oh.
He doesn't say anything, the music doesn't change. It's just...
Oh, when's the last time either of you have seen the movie Fantasia?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Fantasia? It's the best one.
I've never seen it.
It's awesome. I watched that, like, I think, real talk, the last time I watched it was about maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow. That's more recent than me.
When last I checked, this might totally not be true anymore, and if it is so, it breaks my heart, but it was on Netflix just
Nope.
for...
Pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure Disney's getting everything off of Netflix.
Well, they probably are now, because
Yeah.
they're bastards. And they're injecting whole movies into the middle of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do now to watch a classic Disney film.
You have to buy the game.
Pardon me. We got to break Disney mandates. We got to have the whole musical number here before we can continue.
Do you know the premise of I keep wanting to call it Futurama. Jesus.
Futurama Deja.
It's like a musical, right?
Basically, it's a bunch of different songs played by a full orchestra,
Yeah.
and then the animations are like sort of stream of consciousness type of stuff that animators thought of when they heard those tracks.
Yeah.
And the best part that your childhood sorely lacked is the dinosaur scene.
Oh yeah, I would have gone insane.
It was
for that.
I watched the movie for that part. I
gone
watched that shit,
nutty, buddy.
Every week I watched Fantasia for the dinosaur part.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. Now it's riddled with scientific inaccuracies, but when I was 6, who the fuck cares? It's dinosaurs, and it's awesome. And do yourself a favor, just later, and Google... You could probably, like, on YouTube find Fantasia
find it.
dinosaur scene, because...
We'll
I'd also
find
have
a
to see
totally
the-
legitimate version of it.
Yes. Well, no. Seek out an illegitimate version, because that's the only version with titties in it.
Or the Black Centaur.
Oh. Well, don't watch it for that one. Watch it for the titties.
I love that. Like, the myth part is fun. Like, it's all just fucking awesome. And it's a super nostalgic, calming movie for me. It's, like, definitely one of my all-time, like... movie that I would watch to just feel good and enjoy and not really have to pay a super amount of attention to, but just makes me feel good.
Until Chernabinga Bing Bong shows up.
Yeah, he scared the absolute dicks out of me when I was a kid. And my mom was also, like, weirdly religious in my early childhood. And, like, I think we've probably talked about this before, but, like, I never really bought into it at all. I was just like, going to church is something you do because your mom says you have to.
Yep.
and you had a similar experience growing up, I know.
Mine lasted a little bit longer, unfortunately.
Yeah. But Mom stopped doing all the church stuff right around the time she discovered prescription anti-anxiety and depressants. So that cured whatever... she'd previously tried to fix through Jesus.
In the newspaper. Anxiety cures Jesus.
The church that we did go to was pretty chill. It was just a Methodist church. There was never any mention of hating gays or abortion or anything crazy. It was just like a community center with a slightly religious flavor, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in exactly those terms before. Anyhow, Mom was weirdly religious in the sense where she was like, I don't want you liking this part. He's a demon. You can't watch that. He's a demon. And I was like, I don't know what a demon is. I know he's scary as shit. And there's friggin' Skellermen on horses. and some ghosts and crap that'll give me fucking nightmares. So please, by all means, be my guest and turn it off before that part comes on. And... not mastering the VCR when I was a very small child, I used to yell, Mom! Mom! Night on Bald Mountain's coming on! I wanted to watch Fantasia, but Night on Bald Mountain, it's the end. I need you to come turn it off for me. So I don't have to see him. I also...
Doesn't that part have ghost titties in it?
I don't know about that, but...
I thought it was centaur titties. Or maybe it's mermaid titties.
There's a bunch of
There's titties in that movie.
There's some form of cartoon teat.
There's a bunch of them with, like, fairies and with, like, mythological creatures. But what I was going to say about the, my mom not wanting me to watch that He's a Demon part. And, like, as I got older, like, when I watched it finally as, like, a middle schooler, I couldn't shake the vague feeling of I'm doing something I'm not supposed to. And when there's like no logical reason for me to interpret that way. And like Mom had long since caring by that point, and I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy. Like I was like, this still kind of creeps me out now. Like this really would have creeped me out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then he's a fucking boss in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The demon from the end of Fantasia.
And then again in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. That fight is way harder. It is.
And then my mom comes in halfway through, and that's the hardest part of the boss battle. She comes in halfway through and turns off the PlayStation.
That's what makes it so hard. You gotta fight your mom.
Mm-hmm.
You must fight your mother.
With a keyblade.
A character we hear from a grand total of once in Kingdom Hearts.
My mom?
Not your mom. Sora's mom.
Sora has parents?
Yes. At least a mom.
I never considered that.
He at least has an single mother.
Where do they live?
The Destiny Islands aren't the only island.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just it's more like a goofy playground that all the kids go to.
Okay.
Like, via boat. And when the sun sets, they go back home, and there's like a mainland with houses and shuls and Sora's room with discarded clothings and a strange wooden doll that he's been making, which I assume is his version of a Kyrie real doll. But and you know,
He has more personality than she does.
While he's shitting about in his room, you hear, "Sora, dinner's ready. Come on down, Sora." And it's Helga's mom from Hey Arnold.
Is she drunk?
No, well, I assume so. Or I hope she was, because almost immediately afterward, their world falls into darkness. So, and Sora never even mentions her.
Weird. I gotta save Kyrie. Oh no, I gotta save Riku and Kyrie, and and I guess all these other people. Like, what's the one that raised me? I don't know. They're not important.
It's just about Riku and Kyrie. Okay, I don't want to make this Kingdom Hearts episode 2.0 for all the people at home. They're probably sick of it. So let's go ahead and move on to the luxurious subject at hand. B-Rai.
No.
When did the demons tempt you finally? When did they finally accept you into their fold so that you could like Chernobog on Bald Mountain?
Like when I was like 16.
16. You were in middle school.
When you were
16?
16.
Yeah, I mean that is traditionally the age.
Oh, what a sweet 16 it was.
My mom's birthday was on 666 once.
Wow, I'm
God.
sure she was not happy about that.
I think she just found it funny. Just like,
Yeah.
whatever. My mom was the same way. She wouldn't let me watch 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo or Beetlejuice because the monsters were real.
And she didn't like Flim Flam.
I was not forbidden. What was the first one? It was the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
That one my mom didn't give a shit about. I was not allowed to watch Beetlejuice either.
Oh, okay.
I saw Beetlejuice. I didn't like it. Like, I remember that was one of the cartoons that I would actually change the channel for.
Really?
Yeah.
Part of the reason I was not supposed to watch Beetlejuice was also because of the very real possibility that it might scare me.
Well, the intro's terrifying to a young child. Do you remember?
I probably have repressed nightmares of it.
Well, the seriously, like, the open screen, like, when the commercial break is over and the episode begins.
Oh, yeah, it's like
just Beetlejuice's corpse face, dead in the coffin.
realistically drawn.
Yeah, like Ren and Stimpy mode.
Yeah.
Jesus goddamn
And you hear,
Christ!
Beetlejuice! 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 And his eyes open. And he busts out of a coffin and he's fine. It's okay. But that initial shot of his eyes opening as a corpse is like, oh my god!
That would have scared the piss out of me. I would not have liked that at all.
The show has one good thing that I remember, and that's Lydia Dietz.
Everyone likes Lydia.
I like her
Yeah.
poncho. I think ponchos are stylish. And that's just me.
I want to copy her look.
No, you should get ponchos then.
Yes. I already have the vampire cape.
We'll turn the cape into a poncho.
Yeah, I could put some spider webs on it.
Put a poncho.
Co absolutely loves them, some Lydia Dietz.
Yeah.
Oh, I
In a
didn't
creepy
mean
way,
it that
though.
way.
Yeah.
We don't want her to love that way. She
She's
is
probably a
underage.
minor.
There's a lot of unpleasant things going on.
She still
there.
lives with her parents in the 90s, so we're to assume she's a minor. Once the 2000s hit, it's anybody's game.
I mean, she's probably our age now.
Well, hey.
Oh, God. I have to interject here because of a horrifying thing.
Thank you.
that
You
I
saved
learned.
me from a pedophile joke, so thank you.
No, I just, I got curious and I Googled.
Bi-curious?
I Googled what the canonical, at the time, age of the parents on Rugrats was supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
Lord.
And it's basically like our age.
Oh.
Really? They're supposed to be.
They're like 33 and 32.
Okay.
Oh, that's not.
Which
That's
we're-
a lot happens in 2 years. Oh, I'm 32.
We're close enough, and it's just like, I was not prepared for this. I mean, I knew that was probably going to be the answer.
Yeah.
But I don't know why that, amongst all of the other cartoons I'm the age of or older now, in terms of like raw, formative, like symbol of adult and parent and stuff, like that really fucked with me. Is realizing that I'm basically almost entering the age range of the parents from Rugrats, and that's weird. And
You gotta master the Stu Pickles scream.
I don't remember what it sounded like. And also, speaking of shit that terrified me with the I'm not Tommy and the I'm not Stu. Oh my god, that really
Dude,
freaked
speaking
me.
of dumb things you retain from cartoons, there's a moment in that show where Tommy has to stay with Chucky for a while for some reason. Like Dee Dee and Stu are getting the house fumigated or something, and they let Tommy stay with Chucky for a few days. And it's basically an episode about how, hey, having friends is great, but if you hang around them enough, you might get a little sick of them. Mm-hmm. And, learn how to deal with people's idiosyncrasies, kids. Mm-hmm. And that kind of thing. So Tommy's getting sick of Chucky's weird shit. And Chucky has lots of things about stuff. But anyway, one time they're curled up in bed and getting ready to go to sleep. But then, Chucky keeps asking Tommy weird-ass questions. And one of the questions is, Tommy? Yes, Chucky. How do they make Jell-O green? Just go to bed, Chucky. And he's like, okay. And like they both start to nod off, and then Tommy's eyes shoot open after a bit of silence. And he goes, how do they make it green? And I retain that for decades. So now whenever a dumb question comes to mind, I'll say that. And in conversations I'll throw that in. How do they make it
Let's just
green?
be sitting there. How do they make it green?
The same with Brian, my brother.
Yeah. Both of you do it.
Yeah. That's just, you retain weird shit in your formative years, and nobody knows why.
Yeah. I used to love Rugrats.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of afraid to watch it now because I feel like the nostalgia is not going to hold up enough, and I'll watch it and it'll be awful, and it'll just ruin the memory of it. So
This is a Klasky Supo cartoon where everyone looks like they have horrible tumors for faces. And apparently directly on the bottom of your chin is an appropriate place to have a mouth.
Yeah, right about where the neck connects to the jaw. There's the mouth.
You know what I never liked? Because like I was not old enough. Like I was old enough by the time it was a thing to not be freaked out by it, but I always found it like unsettling in an uncanny valley way. Was Real Monsters.
yeah.
I never liked it.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, I
That's my
liked
favorite.
it, but I was allowed to watch that despite the monsters being real. I don't remember my mom ever throwing a fit about that.
You know what the
'Cause they
best?
were-
You know what the best part of that show was?
What?
At the end of the theme song,
Yeah!
it plays a Howie scream as part of the logo reveal because there's like a mouth screaming.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and you got a good old Howie scream in there. And any show that's got a Howie scream, it's okay by me. It also has a character called the Grundle.
That's where the Grumps got the name, right?
No, his name is the Grumble.
Oh.
But calling him the Grundle is funny.
Yeah. Speaking of scary things from childhood, I recently watched a movie that I remember watching on like Sci-Fi Channel that scared me like a lot, despite the fact that watching it again and it's not very scary at all.
Cube 2 Hypercube.
That was one of them.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, that's not what I was going to talk about, but that movie was absolutely terrifying to me.
I
could
saw
not.
I saw it up until the people were running through the hypercube, and then they look down a hallway, and then they see themselves dead and floating, like as rotted corpses. Because in the cube, time works weird, and like different rooms operate on different time scales.
Yeah.
So they saw their future selves dead and floating in anti-gravity, all rotted and shit, and it freaked me right the fuck out. And I
Yep.
said, "Hey, I'm gonna go build Legos in the basement, Dad. I'll see ya." And Dad's like, "Pussy." And then he looks at the screen, and there's a close up of the corpse, and he goes, "Ah!"
What were you gonna say, Ada? Before
Yeah, I'm
that?
sorry.
The part from that scared me was they went into one room and there's like like a 2-dimensional square that's like floating around, and they touch it, and it keeps like expanding into like a 3rd-dimensional one, and then like it expands even more and just turns into this giant whirling ball of blades.
Oh.
So they all try to run out, and one guy's too slow, and it just like eviscerates him from behind and like shreds through him.
Oh God.
That was the part where the part that stuck in my mind as something that I did not like and was very afraid of. But the movie that I was going to talk about is called Terror Tract, and it was a
Terror Tract.
Terror Tract, like tract housing. It's sort of an anthology thing, so it's got 3 different stories, and they're all being told by a realtor that's trying to sell a house. And each of these stories involves what happened in that house, and it's like why it's abandoned. So the first one is like the story about a woman cheating on her husband, and then he tries to get his revenge, and it backfires, but then he ends up getting his way anyway. I didn't remember that one. The third one was one about this kid that's like seeing visions of this killer and being unable to do anything to stop the killings. I didn't remember that. The one I did remember was the second one, which is about a killer monkey. starring Bryan Cranston of
what?
Yes, of Breaking Bad and Malcolm in the Middle fame.
Is he the monkey?
No, it would be a very fun movie though.
Ryan Chimpston.
He's like a family man, and his daughter finds a capuchin monkey in the backyard, and she insists on keeping it, and the monkey's evil, and he's trying to get rid of it. It keeps breaking out of the cage, kills his dog, then it kills a animal control guy in a very gruesome scene where he finds him dead with like 20 knives stuck in his chest.
Oh my God.
Slumped against like the kitchen island.
You ever think about the fact that like to the capuchin monkey, like a kitchen knife would be like a friggin' Buster sword?
Yeah.
Awesome. This monkey's cool, dude. He just straight up did Omni Slash on the animal control guy.
Yeah. Then he kills the wife, and then he kills I forget if he kills the dad. I kind of zoned out because I was a little drunk when I was watching this. But
You were drunk as a child?
I watched it this weekend.
You left that part out.
So I was 3 and I was blitzed.
I was a little half pint and I just drank a half pint. But yeah, it was just comical now. And the other part that got me a lot was at the very end, the realtor is like desperate to make a sale because apparently his boss is like his wife and children, and he's gonna kill them if he doesn't make a sale.
Wow.
So he
that escalated fast as fuck.
yeah. So he like goes a little nuts on the couple he's trying to sell to, and like stabs the guy, like, make me an offer, as he stabs him in the back with a pen.
That's a good way to get an offer.
And he's like on the ground dead, and he still stabbed him, shouting, interest rates are down 0% APR.
Wow.
And like the woman runs out of the house and through the neighborhood, and like there's explosions going on. The monkey hops out of a tree, and under a windshield is someone that's buried a cat and is gonna run over it with a lawnmower. There's like a dead body sticking out of a garbage can with an old lady next to it. Just all this gross, horrifying shit in this horrible neighborhood.
Well, why were they looking for a house in that neighborhood? They brought
Well,
that
they
on
didn't know. They didn't know it was the hell neighborhood.
Oh, well, presumably they saw all this shit driving in.
Yeah,
Why
you
didn't they
think
turn
so.
around?
Yeah.
This is an up and coming area. We're gentrifying.
Ted is an ant counter from Louisiana. Susan is a career Twizzlers eater. They have a budget of $3.7 billion, and they're looking to make a deal. Let's see if this realtor has what it takes.
He doesn't, and they both die.
Yeah, he doesn't. The actual episode is just playing with the home and garden music. Like the fucking stock ass music playing while he's stabbing him with a pen. It's like, doo, 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 doo. Today's episode of House Hunters was brought to you by Campbell's Cigarettes. Say, Brian! I just rode in from the Old West. Hey, Fred, how can an event that occurred millions of years after we die, how can you be back from that, Fred? Shut the fuck up, Brian. I'm smoking a Camel cigarette. It's what all the cool jazz kids are doing.
Ow! I smoked a cigarette backwards, Bond. You gotta take me to the hospital. There was asbestos in there. Hey, Fred, I'll take you to the hospital, but first I gotta play lawn darts. Oh, sorry, Bam Bam.
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.